me.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Ivy. Welcome to Vibes, bringing you inspiration, wisdom, and encouragement for the mind, body, and soul. You can follow us on Facebook at Vibes, VIBEZ, and we're also on Instagram at BEZ _radio. You can also email us at VBEZradio@gmail.com. Tonight, we have a wonderful show for you. It's about loving yourself. What does it mean to love oneself? I also have my girl in the studio with me,
Hey girl.
Crystal, joining us for the founder of the Guard Your Heart Project. So we're going to start off telling that Crystal's going to tell us a little bit about what is the Guard Your Heart Project.
Guard Your Heart Project. It exists and captures toxic relationships and everyday insecurities. To understand that a little more, it's to help people guard their hearts. I think that a lot of women, and men too, but a lot of us women, we jump into relationships quickly and we overlook the red flags and we overlook certain things that we normally wouldn't overlook because we want to be loved or we want to feel something. Mm-hmm. And we don't guard our heart. And it's a big deal for us because we constantly go through heartbreaks and then we're just worn out, torn to pieces, and we're not able to give the love that we need to give to the actual person that knows how to love us and knows how to protect our hearts. So guarding your heart is guarding your heart.
Very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, guard your heart. So what was the inspiration behind Guard Your Heart? Like, what inspires you, or what was the inspiration to start the project?
I think, well, I know that going through so much in my life, I went through a lot of just different stages of trying to find myself. And I think that a lot of us go through that stage, but I know I went through it. In high school, I had my first son at 16, or I was pregnant at 16, had him at 17. I finished high school, I went to college, and I wilded out in college. I know it's embarrassing, but I did. Truth be told, I did. And I think it was because growing up that my father, he just was like, don't have a boyfriend till you're 16 and right. Can't wear makeup, things like that. So when I got to college, I was kind of free. I was able to do what I want. My son actually came with me. I was in the single parent program at St. Paul's College, but I just did what I want, and I dealt with different guys, and I started becoming numb to relationships and to, I guess, love. Like, I didn't want to fall in love anymore. Wow. I didn't want to be tied down or committed. So anytime I felt like it getting there, I cut it off. And then I went to graduated from college. Then I started my career, and I got involved with this guy that was 21 years older than I was. Great guy, but he was married. Wow. And he was supposedly going through the separation and supposed to be getting a divorce. We were dating for a year till I really found out that the separation was never legalized through the courts and that the divorce actually wasn't happening because the separation didn't happen. Wow. And I was so crushed, bruised. I was distraught because I thought I was going to be with this person for the rest of my life. And I just definitely was out of it. I was depressed for a while. And through that time, it was probably like a couple weeks later, there's this guy that was trying to get with me for the longest time. And I kept shutting him down. Finally, I gave him the time of day. And he was just speaking everything a woman wants to hear, especially when you're broken, you're torn down, you're depressed, you're sad, you're just vulnerable. And he was just this person that just talked about God this and God that. And I just was like, wow, maybe he does care. Maybe he is the one. Like, yes, find out I'm pregnant 3 months later, and he wasn't happy about it.
Wow.
Through that time I just started my career, 2 years into my career, got off welfare, finished college, finally moved into my own apartment, and I find out I'm pregnant. And he wasn't there through my pregnancy.
Wow.
And at that time is when I was told by a coworker of mine that she was like, you have high self-esteem but low self-worth. And that's when I realized, like, wow, I don't have self-worth. And then I started thinking about all my past relationships. Like, what was I doing? Like, what was the meaning of that? We sit here and try to be numb, and we try to act like we don't feel, but we do feel. And then by the time we start feeling, we don't even know where to start feeling at. Right. So that's when I realized, like, wow, I'm trying to chase this man to be with me. And not because I wanted to be with him, but because I was pregnant for the second time as a single parent, and I didn't want to. And that's where Guard Your Heart came from. I was reading the Bible and I came across Proverbs 4:23, and it talks about guard your heart. And it made me think, like, how many of us women are so fragile because we don't guard our heart. It's all through self-inflicted pain. And so that's where I was inspired.
Wow, that's deep. And it's amazing how, you know, we can sit here and talk about self-inflicted pain, and I can definitely relate to, you know, experiences that you have. And it takes a lot to actually view yourself, like take a look in the mirror and actually look at you, right? You know, and realize, like, hey, something isn't right here, right? You know, so that's really deep. And I can agree, a lot of women and men too go through the self-inflicted pain, and it's like we try to hide behind it, right? And a lot, like you said, being numb and want to ignore the signs of different things. So that's really deep, and I think that's great encouragement as well. What is your vision?
My vision for is it vision for Guard Your Heart? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like, what is your vision towards, like, Guard Your Heart? Like, where do you see it going, the Guard Your Heart project going?
I want it to go far. I want people to see Guard Your Heart, the Guard Your Heart emblem, and say, think about Guard Your Heart. I want them to think about, wow, am I guarding my heart? Have I been guarding my heart? And I want it to go worldwide. But I want others to see it and think about guarding their heart. I don't want other people to see it and think about me. I want them to see it and think about their self and think about, am I doing what I need to be doing to guard my heart? Because we're not guarding our hearts, and it shows throughout our lives and how we raise our kids and how we deal with people at work and just people in general. And we're so broken and so distraught that hurting people hurt people, as you've heard that before. And it's true. We are hurting, and we're hurting others in the midst of it. And I want others to realize, and everyone to realize, that you have to guard your heart. And of course, heartache's going to happen, but the self-inflicted pain doesn't have to happen as much. And so that's what I see. That's what I want and desire, is it to just go around the world. People see the emblem and be like, I need to guard my heart.
So with the Guard Your Heart project, can guarding your heart be mistaken as putting this wall up? Or it's like, once you kind of realize the self-inflicted pain, like, you know what I mean? Like, because you say guard your heart.
Right.
And then some people like, okay, I guard my heart. But as you say, the right one may come along, but it's because they're going to build this block up. So speaking on guard your heart, are you not saying, like, don't put that block up to where you can, like, kind of like block your blessing if he or she does come along for you, but more so of just be aware of the causes of the pain and the self-infliction?
With Guard Your Heart, I think it's being more aware.
Gotcha.
Also, we have to have boundaries. We don't have boundaries, and that's the problem with us now. Like, and I say us collectively because we all endure heartache and pain, but like I said, it goes back to self-inflicted pain because we don't put boundaries up. We're constantly, us as women, and men too, but us as women always give husband benefits with somebody who we're just dealing with. Not a relationship, not a significant, we can't even call them a significant other.
Absolutely.
We're giving our all to these guys that are like, okay, why am I going to work for this if I can get
They're
everything I want from you?
Absolutely.
And we're thinking like, well, he wants to take it slow, but we're not taking it slow when we doing what we're doing with him. You know what I mean? So it's just having boundaries and not overlooking the red flags, not putting your morals aside because you think that this is going to be better, or if you do it this way, it's going to work out. It's just having boundaries and continue to keep your eyes open and look at the red flags and look at your morals and check yourself. Like, you know what? Why am I compromising my belief or my faith because do I really want this bad? You know, and it's just having boundaries.
Okay. What we're going to take it to some of the media a little bit. Okay. Now, I know you've heard about Megan Good and her husband, and what's live too that they're talking about is Dr. Freeman, his daughter, that waited until marriage. And even with Megan Good and her husband, they have a book because they waited until marriage. Like, what is your outtake on that of just waiting until you're married?
I think waiting until marriage is very difficult. I do believe that you should. I didn't. I wish that I did. I read this book. I didn't read the Megan Good book, but I also read this other book called Sex and the Soul of a Woman. And it explains how sex is very detrimental outside of marriage. And basically, in the way I understood it being described is it's like you're this person, and you have sex together. Your souls intertwine, and now you're being ripped apart, which is why you feel so much heartache and so much pain when things don't work out, because you shouldn't be having, it's like gluing two pieces of paper together, ripping it apart. You still have pieces left on each other. And it just is a constant cycle for people to just constantly just be with different people. And some people don't look at it spiritually, but in that sense, I look at it very spiritually, and I think that it is detrimental, and it does cause problems that doesn't have to be caused or created for your future spouse. So I agree with sex. I agree that sex should be held within the confines of marriage. I did not do it. I do wish I did. I pray for my kids that every night, they're boys, but I pray that God keep them. Like, some people are like, that's impossible, and maybe it is to some, but I believe that the God I serve can do it. So.
Absolutely. Which we serve an awesome God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that, it comes to mind because with their Megan Good and her husband and Dr. Freeman daughter and her husband that waited, it's like they got so much lashback from for instance, their fans, and some even church people were giving them like different, lashback on waiting. And to me, I thought it was absolutely a beautiful thing. I'm with you. Like, if I could have waited, I definitely would have waited, because as you get older, you realize that so much thing has so much more meaning, and things are more sentimental than when you're younger, and your maturity level change, everything changes. So I definitely agree. If I could have waited, I would have waited, especially knowing the reward that is given from God, because like you said, having sex with your spouse is supposed to be with your husband, husband and wife, or whatever the case may be. So that was just on my mind, because I was just like sitting here thinking, when you talk about self-worth, and as you said too, basically it's like more so your self-worth, and then you do have some women that find comfort in that, like they feel like, oh, I have to sleep with him in order for me to keep him, but not understanding that having sex with him is not going to keep him there. It, like you said, it causes more pain for you because you get attached. And for us women, we can say, oh, we're not going to get attached. Oh, we can do the friends with benefits thing. But in doing the friends with benefit things, and I think I can speak off experience too, you're going to eventually catch feelings, regardless how bad you try to fight it. You're going to eventually catch feelings and want more than just friends with benefits, because that gets old after a while.
That's exactly. And that's why I agree wholeheartedly with that. People are like, no, I didn't catch feelings. You may not have fell in love with the person, but you might want the person more, and sexually, or you might think about them at random times. They just pop up in your mind like, wow, man, that was good, or that was great. And I think it's a big deal. Sex, friends with benefits it's a big deal, because it definitely does create some heartache there. And I personally don't think that we were meant to just have sex with just everybody and anybody, and it not mean anything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, and that's just, if that was the case, then every person we have sex with, we should have babies by. Which, if we think about it, like
Oh
half the
my
people,
gosh.
heck no, I wouldn't want to.
And that's the thing. The question is like, if you can think to like the people that you've been intimate with, like, what if you did have a child by that person? Like, could you imagine? Like, what in the world?
Sometimes imagine it now, but so no, let me stop. It's difficult though when you aren't with that person that you've had a child by. It can be difficult. Sometimes for a lot of people, I know it's very difficult. I know with my oldest son, it's our relationship. We're very cordial. We get along. I love his fiance to death, and she loves my son like her own. And I even get along with my youngest son's father's wife, his stepmother, and me and her are great. Wow. I can't really say we get along. Me and his father get along much at all. Wow. I don't do the drama, which is why too I'll communicate with whoever I can get along with. But it's a lot of heartache, and you go through the stresses of some people court, and I mean you have friends. Everybody has friends that have the worst baby mother or worst baby father ever, and it's just like wow, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So if we just guard our heart and try not to have sex with all these people, we'd be okay.
Y'all hear that? Guard your heart. Right. So what advice would you give to a person that's hiding behind self-inflicted pain? Like from experience, like what could you say to someone like that's right now that's kind of dealing with that? Like trying to kind of come out of it, but it's like actually like battling with their self on right, the senses of it.
Well, I think first it's acknowledging that it's self-inflicted pain. That is the first step, because a lot of us put the blame on anybody but ourselves. Once we accept that it was self-inflicted, I think that it's great to have somebody that you could talk to, a friend. And I'm not talking about a friend that hears what you're saying and says, well, I've been telling you what to do, you should have done this a long time ago. I'm talking about a friend that can say, you know what, I told you, stop doing this. It was wrong. It's wrong, or you should have stopped. But I'm here for you now. I love you, and we're gonna get through this. I think that's the biggest step, is having an outlet of a friend or
a support system.
Right, a support system. Exactly.
Yeah, I think in today's society, support is kind of you have those that want to give support, and you do have some friends that will support you.
Right.
But when it comes to supporting you, it's like sometimes that's hard to come across, like genuine support that people is like, oh, I got your back 100% no matter what, I'm a ride.
Right.
Like if you're going through something, I'm here for you. I understand, not trying to judge you.
Right.
But it seems like in today's society, this world, and even people in our community is very judgmental instead of, being encouragement, inspiring, each other, one another, and things of that sort. So, I mean, to have a good support system, that's wonderful. Especially when you can define the fact that you're going through the self-inflict, dealing with the pain and trying to come out of it. You know what I mean? But once again, it falls back to self, because you have to identify it first in order to correct it. And go through it.
But I think it also depends on, it does depend on a group of friends. I think a lot of people are judgmental, which is difficult. But I think some of us can find at least that one person that's like, yo, that was wrong, or I don't agree with it, but, it's life, keep going through it, And I also believe that it's just trying, maybe write too. I think I write a lot, and whether I write poems or just write prayers, I write, and I think that's a good outlet as well, to slowly just kind of face it, and then maybe finding somebody that you can talk to. Even in therapy, people frown upon therapy.
Well, I've tried therapy.
Okay.
And I write as well. I think also having a journal, it helped me through a lot of my different situations that I went through, like journaling, going to therapy. To me, it worked out great, because more so of just talking to someone that doesn't know you completely. I mean, like you said, having that one friend that don't want to tell you what you want to hear, but just tell you the truth. That's, I feel that you need, for you to be like, wait a minute, it is something like going on. You know what I mean? But therapy, just having someone that doesn't know, the situation and things of that sort, it helps a lot.
Right.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. We're going to go pay some bills, and we'll be right back right after this. All right, guys, welcome back to Vibes. It's your girl Ivy, and I have my girl Crystal here in the studio with me with the Guard Your Heart Project. Once again, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, don't forget, you can also follow Vibes at our Facebook page at VIBEZ. And we're also on Instagram at BEZ_radio. All right, so let's continue on our conversation, girl, because it was deep. All right, so what does it mean to you to love oneself? Since we're talking about self-love tonight.
I think that it's accepting your flaws. And I don't mean accepting them and just living with them. I mean accepting them and knowing that you have them and gradually trying to change yourself for yourself and not for others.
I like it. My definition, which I'll share mine, since I actually gotta be a two-way street here, not just asking you questions. To me, love oneself is accepting what is and letting go of what's not. More so focusing on self-reflection and that process of self-growth, because that's important. I feel like over time, as we get older, we're supposed to grow and learn from our mistakes, not kind of still be at that standstill point of like, okay, what am I doing in my life? What is going on? Why is nothing going right? And I think so also building that spiritual growth, having spiritual growth as well, because I feel like anything we do, we have to include God in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And self-worth as well. Well, loving oneself is really knowing that God loves us, and building off that and knowing that, whatever you're going through or whatever you're dealing with, you can always overcome it.
Right. And I absolutely agree with that. I totally, because God does love us. And I think that we have a hard time fathoming how much he loves us and the depth that he goes to show us, So I definitely agree.
Awesome. I know they're like, what should I go on top of the bat? Y'all know I'm getting old, so my memory is kind of, all over the place. All right, so we're going to talk more about the Guard Your Heart Project. So the latest, well, not the latest blog, but one of the blogs that kind of showed me a lot of interest was the Entangled blog that you posted. So it speaks on self-worth, loving yourself. Was there ever a time that you endured like lack of self-confidence?
I think that I endured a lot of, how do I say that? Not being self-confident a lot. I think just growing up, and I know in middle school, like I was made fun of because I was tall and skinny. Like I had no shape whatsoever.
Wow.
And then my hair is like this, but my mother's white, my dad's black. My mother didn't really know how to do my hair. I didn't know how to do my hair. She's done relaxers and she tried perms. There's just so many different things. And I feel like going through that stage into high school, transitioning, like trying to be cool was like, I had no shape. My hair was always a mess or all over the place. I didn't know how to embrace it. And I think that was a big deal for me when people would laugh at me about my size and stuff. And just growing up, and then even being in high school, realizing like there's being a freshman and liking the seniors and they ain't paying any mind to you, but then you have friends that they were paying mind to, and you're like, what's wrong with me? Why aren't they looking at me? So just growing up, just throughout middle school, high school, and I think towards college a little bit is when I started having more self-esteem and self-confidence, but I was still short on self-worth. But yeah.
Wow. And it's like, and it's funny that, well, it's not funny that you got picked on in school, because I did too.
Right.
A lot of people, when I was in actually elementary and middle school, a lot of people picked on me because I had big lips and I wore glasses. And my voice was immature. It was like deeper than a lot of the kids. So they used to pick on me. But guess what? Now I'm on the radio. That's what my gift is. God gave me that voice because now I have a radio show. But it's like it does a lot to you, like being picked on as a child, because it grows up to you. And as you say, liking boys, and me, I was flat chested, and I had friends that had like bodies early, and I'm like flat chested, no shape at all too. So I can kind of relate. And it hurts you as a child because you do start questioning, well, what's wrong with me? And as you grow up, that does affect. So picking on children and picking on other people and making fun of them, it does affect you. Like it really does. And it does something to your self-esteem. What would you say to like a woman right now that's probably watching the show right now that's like, dang, like I don't have self-worth, I don't have self-confidence? What would you like, what encouraging words would you give to her right now out there that's kind of like going through that?
What would I say? I would say that you are beautiful, and it doesn't take a man, it doesn't take your parents, it doesn't take any of your friends to tell you that you're beautiful. And you may look in the mirror and just be like, I'm not. But I encourage you to look in the mirror every morning and say, I'm beautiful, I am worth something, I will be something. And that's one of my other visions and goals, is that people start to do that more and learn like who I am and what I am does matter to somebody. Somebody cares about you. There is somebody in this world that cares about you, but you also have to learn to care about yourself. And I just encourage you, look in that mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful, and think about the fact that Jesus Christ died for us. He loves us so much. And like I said, it's sometimes incomprehensible, but yes, he does. And just think, if you're still walking on this earth, you have a purpose. If you're still alive, it don't matter what situation you're in, what addiction you may have, you have a purpose.
That's so true. That's so true. And it's just encouraging one another. And I think in today's society, like we have a lot of women, and I'm all for encouraging each other, lifting us up. I hope we all make it. Girl, you know what I mean? I hope we all, if I can just touch one person or just get a message out there to a person or a few, especially the women, because I feel like we need it, like the self-worth, like we have to wake up as women and start loving ourselves more, because as you said before, previous, if you don't set standards or you don't love yourself, how can you expect someone else to love you or for you to know what your worth is for you to receive it? Absolutely. So that's very, very important. Ladies, I hope y'all listening and taking notes, okay? All right. Give me 3 words. 3 words that describes who you are today.
3 words. Eccentric. I'm told I'm always eccentric, I guess. So I accept that. I like that word. Artistic, and I'm free-spirited. So
what makes you free-spirited?
Because I guess I do whatever I want when I want, and I'm like a rebel at heart. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not like this person that just goes break the law and just said forget you or F you and F everybody. But no, if I don't agree with something, I don't agree with it, and I will kind-heartedly state that. And if something's not right, then I'm gonna say something's not right. I don't care who's in my circle that says opposite. Oh, I don't agree. Sorry, I don't. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what clout you may have and what clout you don't have. I will speak up and I will say what I have to say. And I just like to be free. I like to just wear what I want to wear, do what I want to do, and just enjoy life,
And I think that's what it's more so about, enjoying life, living life to the fullest. As they say, live, laugh, and love.
Right.
And I think love is one of the key things, because once again, it starts with self.
Right.
So in order to give and receive love, you have to love within.
Right.
Or we're not. So we're going to step a little away from Guard Your Heart, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Crystal. What do you do? Like, what do you like to do and enjoy on your free time? Whenever because you're a mom. So it's like whenever you have free time, what do you like and enjoy doing during your free time?
I love photographing. I'm a photographer, and so I just love photographing. I love meeting people and just learning their story, talking to them, and photographing. Like, I take my camera everywhere I go. Like, it's just always with me. So if I have a moment, that's what I do. I also like talking to people. I love talking to the homeless. When I see people with homeless people with their signs up, I like to talk to them. I ask them what their name is and just ask questions and just talk to them. Let them know they're not invisible. And the same with just other people, just random people. Sometimes I'm like, man, I just want to talk to that person. And some people look at me crazy, but after I started talking to them, they were like, "Oh, okay, it was great talking to you." Blah blah blah. And I do, don't get me wrong, I do feel nervous sometimes, but I also feel like I'm being led to speak to them. So I get past that uncomfortness for a second and go and do that. But that's what I enjoy doing. I love photographing. I love just spending time with my kids and my family, my husband, and just being involved with more activities. I think work took over my life for a while too much. So just really getting that time back with my friends and family.
And that's important too, because being a mom and for you being a wife, is finding that balance between career, family, friends. It can get overwhelming sometimes.
Yes.
And make you just like want to pull your hair out, but that's awesome that, family oriented and people oriented. Like you don't come across that many people that just like, oh, let me talk to. But when you find your passion and God is leading in your life, it's like, hey, he wants you to, we're supposed to be building the kingdom. So that's what it's all about, like just spreading his message and,
Exactly.
And then you meeting and talking to people, that's more so like, I'm pretty sure you make their day. It's, it's just like, oh, this random girl come up and talk to me, but I'm pretty sure you find out some interesting facts and they're like, they'll never forget you, forget you.
And that's exactly what it is. Because I know a lot of people, after people get to know me, they're like, they feel intimidated by me. And I guess depending on what I'm wearing, they see all my tattoos and stuff. And it's like, it's funny because I'm like, I'm really this soft-hearted person and emotional. I'll cry about any sad story. Like, so, but yeah, I love speaking to people. Everybody, and that's another thing with Guard Your Heart too. What I also want, and just even my photography, is to encourage people to talk to people. Like, how do we go and past each other every day and we don't speak? Like, hey, how are you doing? I mean, that's just as simple as, hey, how are you doing? It's just goes down to how many people are depressed or going through something, or like you could really save somebody's life by just speaking to them. You just never know what they're facing.
Right. Nowadays, if you speak, like, as you say, some people look at you like, why are you speaking to me? And like when I'm at work every day, it's more so I make it my, like, to go say good morning. Like they're like, oh my God, here she comes. Some people try to avoid me, but it's like, no matter what I'm going through, I try to keep a smile on my face and speak. And like you said, you never know what someone else is going through and just need that extra encouragement. And even with Vibes, it's more so for us to encourage and inspire one another. To give us a different feel on the way we view ourselves and think differently about our lives and things of that sort. So I have to ask more so, since we're talking about loving yourself, more so, what is your favorite blog that you have done? I know it's probably like, oh my gosh, because I'm pretty sure you tied into a lot of it, of your creation. But what was, since you started the Guard Your Heart Project, which blog can you more so it's like, this was the best one that I've done?
My first favorite it had changed, but I'm gonna talk about my first favorite. Because it was the place I was at, and when I started thinking about creating it was We Chained Our Hearts in Vain. And it originated from the Miley Cyrus song Wrecking Ball.
Oh wow.
And it just really hit me, like, we chained our hearts in vain. That's one of the verses in the song. And I'm like, and that's how I felt when I was in my relationship with the person I thought I was going to be with forever, as the married guy. And I did get backlash from that because everybody's like, you're a home wrecker. And it was also, it wasn't, there's so much I can explain about it, and I'm not even going to even try to get into it, but there's just so much more to that than what I actually am explaining, in a sense. It wasn't that they were just happily married, living together. They actually were separated in separate houses. They just never went through the legal separation. But that's beside the point. But Wrecking Ball is, we chain our hearts in vain. And how many times do we chain our hearts in vain with somebody that we just should have never did? And that was my favorite. You should go check it out, guardyourheart.com. But my new favorite is Queen of Your Heart. That was my latest post, and I think that we are queens. I think that we're princesses and queens, and that we have to look at ourselves as royalty. God says that we are royalty. Absolutely. And that we have to guard our heart. If we don't guard anything else, we have to guard our heart. You know what I mean? And I think if you do guard your heart, it actually puts in place everything else that you should be guarding. But we are the queen of our hearts. We're queens. And I had fun with that photo shoot. I had fun with Entangled as well. I had fun with all my photo shoots, but Entangled and Queen of Your Heart, those were fun. So I also am looking for models for the next topics as well. And but I just want to have fun. I want to think out, be out the box, think out the box, and just do some big things, creative things.
I think that's awesome. I'm looking forward to the photo shoot that we finally set up.
Yes, it's gonna be fun.
I'm excited to actually be a part of it, as I'm always excited. So you can always stop by here with Vibes as well. You're welcome here.
Thank you.
Everyone, make sure that you check out the Guard Your Heart Project, ladies. I follow, I read, I've seen it. I've been following the Guard Your Heart Project since it started, and I can tell you it's definitely a life-changing like encouragement and inspiration. Like, going, like, it's just like when you're kind of like going through stuff and you can kind of relate to someone, having someone that is like, Dag, you're not going through things by yourself. You is someone else out there going through it that can kind of encourage you to get through it.
Right.
And I can say that it's definitely been encouragement to me and inspire me in many different ways. So if you're just, as much as you guys be on social media and surfing Facebook and on Instagram and things like that, check it out. Is really worth checking out, and I'm pretty sure you can walk away or take something from it through the Guard Your Heart Project. Can you tell everybody where to find the Guard Your Heart Project, social media plugs and things of that sort?
You can find Guard Your Heart at guardyourheartproject.com. That's the actual main blogging site where I do my photographs and then I write to them. And then also on Facebook, it's at Guard Your Heart. Instagram, Guard Your Heart Project. Twitter is GYHP blog. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I can be contacted at guardyourheartproject@gmail.com.
Awesome. So once again, she's looking for models, ladies. So if you feel that you want to partake and, spend time with Crystal with the Guard Your Heart Project, make sure you guys check her out. Here at Vibes, we always bringing you inspiration, wisdom, and encouragement for the mind, body, and soul. I'm your girl, Ivy. You can catch me here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on WTTSradio.com. And I just want to take time out to thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you right here next week on Vibes.